captions are rolling, so that's nice. Nice to see. Alrighty. Just entering the Formula One mode here. Got the special edition Monaco shirt on, you know.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so I build like ERP portals and for how many years now, right? And one of the latest ones that I built was for a JDM company, so importing JDM vehicles. I've got it in a really good taste, and I mean this uh, that that's been an ongoing project for like I'd say maybe 6 or 7 years, right? And based on the same technology that ForexLens is being built on, right? It's an ecosystem, and it has the XR, Web3, all that good stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a super Formula One fanatic, right? I just love the fact, you got timing, you got it's just everything about it, strategy, just really cool, and it really applies to uh my method of thinking as well. Like I've been a Schumacher fan since like the 90s, right? And obviously a Ferrari fan, but yeah, it's just applying that kind of mindset to everything I do and technology, finance, all that stuff is it's a lot of fun. It's really neat. Um,
Have you got a chance to drive one yet?
no, but I've driven some really cool cars and like really cool cars. All imports, right? NSX, Skyline, Evos, AE86, like pretty much you name it. I've driven it with maximum power around the tracks too. Um, I've got cool videos of some of those moments. I'll share at some point. Um,
Nice,
let,
nice, nice.
let me yeah. So just checking the stream. I have to share it. So give me a moment.
I think we're already live on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. I've um I've asked the comms team to let me just do things manually for the streams, right? I'm getting used to some of the processes. Just a moment here. Of course, integrating the automation frameworks. So just drop that in there. And yeah, with the F1 stuff, the engineering side is also where it's at with not just like the engines and everything, but also from an analysis point of view, right?
Mm.
Back testing and wind tunnels, just everything is just so good about it, right? It really correlates to like who I am as a individual in terms of tech and you know strategy, right? Okay, so I think I have one more place to just drop this in, and then yeah, can take it away. You can even take it away now if you want. I think it should be fine.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and mute.
All right, cool. Um, Let me share my screen then. Let me see my screen.
Yep, looking good.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, welcome everyone to another New York session. I hope you're all doing well. As usual, we're going to start with the dollar index and then work our way to the crypto market. So, dollar index yesterday, I did mention that when the CPI comes out, they will take that and send it down to this area, which is the OT area. And then we want to see them reject and then go up again because we are still trading inside the range, which is this high, 110.17, and the low of the range is 107.75. So that's basically the dealing range. And we're expecting after we closed through this down candle here, we were expecting them to trade to this area here, which is OT 108.70 level, and then reject and go back up again. So I'm expecting a move back above 110.17 and then potentially going to the 110.43 level that we were anticipating, I think, on Monday. Right. So pretty much this was the forming of the low of the week and a potential rejection to go up. Now at 1:30, we have another news event. It's not as volatile as the one that we had yesterday, but it's still high impact anyway. So at 1:30, we will come back and observe this particular news event, all right, which is at 1:30. It's core retail sales and unemployment claims. So we'll come back and look at how it will impact, obviously, the dollar index, preferably to the upside. So we will come back and then observe that. And if you look at euro, I also mentioned that if we get that move to the downside on the dollar index, euro should go up into this area here, and then we should get a rejection to continue going lower because I didn't trust that this whole move to the upside is a reversal or this whole move to the downside being a buy. I didn't trust that. Okay. I still stand to be, wrong, but as it stands, it's still doing what I'm expecting. So we will look for that continuation to the downside. Okay. So euro, we're expecting 1.0178 as a downside objective. And then we can use the institutional levels to pick up for 1.01500 level. All right. So we are looking for continuation to the downside. GBP USD. This one did not go as high as it was supposed to in terms of a pullback. It went, even didn't get to the 50% level, which is a sign of more weakness in the British pound. So we're expecting a continuation to the downside. And I like the fact that we only printed 1, 2, 3 up candles, and then we are getting a rejection. So it's essentially similar to, I think, last week. We had these 2 up candles and then they moved down. And this week we have 3 and then they move down, right? So we're expecting them to go for this low here. And I think we had an institutional level right below it, which is the 1.2, right? So ultimately, I think we will drive to 1.2. That's where I think the British pound will get to. Maybe not this week. Maybe it could be this week. We will see. But as it stands, right now, they will be reaching to 1.21 for downside objective. And then we look for 1.2, okay, which is basically below this equal low. All right. So expect a continuation to the downside on the British pound as well. Looking at the Australian dollar now, think yesterday I spoke about the Australian dollar being held so that it will become a strong currency, and same thing as New Zealand being held as a strong currency in order to send this Euro Aussie to this low. Now, at the beginning of the week, I said that this week I'll be expecting Euro Aussie to come and attack this low, right? And that was the prospect that I gave in terms of trade ideas, and they did that beautifully yesterday and today. There was a news event at 12:30 early hours this morning, and they used that news event to drive below that low. I was actually still awake, or to put it better, I slept and then I woke up at 12:20 to observe that news event. So at 12:20, I was up and I saw they drove this to attack the low and then immediately rejected. I had a trade with my target right below it, and it took the profit beautifully right there. And you can see price has rejected. I'm still expecting them to continue going lower. I'd like to see them come for these equal lows in here. That's what I'm expecting. And I will be wrong if we go above this high. So as long as we are below this high, which is as long as we are below 1.66634, we'll be expecting price to continue going lower, right? So as long as we are below 1.666, we're expecting price to continue going lower, all right? So expect a continuation to the downside on the Euro Aussie. We can say the same thing for Euro New Zealand. However, I don't like the way it's rejecting. Okay, I don't like the way it's rejecting. Maybe they might clean out this high again and then send it lower. So stay put on Euro New Zealand and focus on the Euro Aussie, because I spoke about this pair going higher, right, for the week. And if this goes higher, then we will have the Australian dollar being the stronger pair, because as this moves higher, Aussie will be the strong pair. And if Aussie is the strong pair, you want to focus on Aussie pair. So we want to focus on the Euro Aussie. Okay, and this is also a good trade to participate in if you want to. I think they're going to send it up. If you look at it from the daily perspective, I actually missed an entry on it and I left it. When they retrace back to this down candle, that was an opportunity to go and run for this high. So yeah, instead of trading Aussie, I would rather trade the Euro Aussie. Okay, or you can trade the Aussie. It's also fine because I think they will continue going lower anyway. Same thing with the New Zealand, it will continue going lower. So you can trade, I think any of the majors, it's fine because it's meant to go and attack previous week low anyway. So the choice is yours. You can look between Euro, Aussie, Pound, and then the New Zealand, and then choose which one you want to trade for continuation to the downside. Okay. All right, moving forward, let's look at gold. So gold did manage to go and attack that previous week high. It didn't give me an entry, it left me behind. I actually wanted to take a trade this morning to go and attack the previous week high here when we had this move to the downside. But the profit was too small, in my opinion, for me. That's why I didn't take it. But when it dropped down to this down candle and rejected, that was the trade right here with this candle. But the profit from here with the stop loss here and looking at there didn't meet what I wanted. So that's why I didn't take it. And Since it's Thursday, Thursday can be the high of the week. And I want to be buying the high of the week. It could be, I'm not saying it is the high, but it could be the high of the week. And since I don't want to be on that side, I decided to sit on my hands on the gold. But I think it can continue going higher anyway. But I would rather have bought down here than buying where we are. Okay, now it's at inflated price. So if you are buying, just be mindful, be careful, because where we are now is too high. However, it can keep going up. So make sure you are protecting yourself in terms of um, stop loss down here, and then expect a continuation to the upside. I think it might go and close in this void here, this candle's low. So in terms of targeting, if anyone is a buyer, you can target that as an objective, and then maybe leave something in case they want to go above this side. I don't think it will do that straight away, but it can, because everything is possible with price. So you can aim for 2.743.2 as a partial profit level, and then you leave something on for a continuation to 2.761.4. Okay, and you can see they've printed a nice down candle here, which in my opinion, I don't think is going to reverse the way I see it on the H4. If it will reverse, then it will need to reverse on the 1 hour, because the 1 hour looks better in terms of a reversal pattern than the H4. But I don't think that is what I'm seeing as it stands. So I'm expecting a continuation to the upside. Crude oil, we eventually went for the 80.15 level. And I also had a nice trade entry on this as well to go for that 80.15. I'm still expecting a continuation to the upside. I think we will continue going up. So our next upside objective, let me see if they did touch this level. Okay, the 80.88, that level, I think that will be the next upside objective. We need to get a rejection where we are and then trade to 80.88 as the next upside objective. And then from there, since we do have this gap on this volume imbalance in here, I would want to see them trade through it. If we can trade through, as in the daily, closing above it, so the daily candle needs to close above it. If we get the daily to close above it, then I will look for a run for 84.52. Okay, and I think I've been giving you these upside objectives since we were, I think, down here, right? So let's stick with that. We are still in January. It's a long way to go to April. So we could be going a lot higher than these levels, but we will take them one at a time. Okay. So with crude oil, I'm expecting 80.88. If we close through that gap, then we will aim for 84.52. And then I think once we go above 84.52, it will run for 87.67. Okay. So let's take it one day at a time. Today, I'm looking for a buy. Like as where we are, I think it's literally at a buying level. So buying here with our stop loss below this down candle, and then expecting that target for partial, and then a continuation to the upside. Okay. And if we lose this down candle, then we sit on our hands and wait for more information, right? So we want that down candle to hold so that we can obviously continue going higher. Okay. So that is that for crude oil. Now let's move on to the crypto market, because I think we're having some interesting stuff, or interesting stuff has happened since morning. So in the morning, I managed to get a trade on Solana, right? I think we have Solana here, so I'm gonna just start with Solana. And yesterday, if you were following, I did give you exactly how today's candle is going to print. Okay, I gave you exactly how today's candle is going to print. I said, if yesterday closed bullish, I would want to see today also close bullish so that it will create a gap. Hence, we will have two gaps. We will have one down here on the daily. We have one down here, and then we're going to have another one. So it will keep price being sustained, right, to go higher. So today is the first gap right there. Let me get rid of all these drawings in here. We don't need them. So this is the gap that I was anticipating to be created. So you can go back and watch yesterday's session, and then you hear me talk about potentially them creating a gap. Right now you see it being printed, right? So yesterday's candle closing, today needs to be an up candle exactly as it is so that we can have this gap. Why am I anticipating a gap? Is because we are rejecting. Let me hide this trade idea. It's because we are rejecting from this low. Okay, so when we are rejecting a low, any low, not just like when we are rejecting a significant low and you're expecting a reversal, you want to see them create a gap. Okay, so that's what I anticipated, that that gap was going to be created. Hence, this candle is going to be an up candle, and it will close above this to make this a gap. So as it stands, it has not closed yet, but I think it will close above previous day's high, making this one a gap. And in future, what I'm also anticipating is another big up candle trading through this, and this would then become a breaker. Now, I think I've guided all of you, if you've been following since 1st January, right? I've guided you to see how to anticipate a breaker forming. Okay, so the up candle, the move down, and then the rejection. This up candle will then become a breaker, right? So that's how, basically, quote unquote, the institutions, that's how they buy. They will start with this, and then they move down, and then the rejection. Okay, so I'm expecting today's candle to close bullish, and then tomorrow to run above this high. Now, how should it be? You can use what happened down here as an example, because it's the same thing. Price is fractal, right? So it's the same thing. It did happen on the H4. It did happen on the H4. And you can look at how price broke structure here, right there. Okay, that's the up candle prior to the move down with the rejection. The same pattern is on the daily, the up move prior to the move down with the rejection, right? So the same way price broke above this high or this up candle aggressively, that's the same way I would want to see them break this. So I would want to see an aggressive break above the up candle on the daily, right? So if you want to participate in that, by all means, feel free. Anticipate tomorrow being an up candle and then an aggressive one. Or they can do something like this here. They can create a down candle here, right? And then trade through it. So on the daily, in here, they can create a down candle, which will be our first area of what? Accumulation. Or they're going to buy more here and then run through it. I would want to see them run through it. No buying, no down candle in here. Okay. I want to see them trade aggressively through that level. So it could be today. If it does it today, that would be fantastic. If it doesn't, no problem. We can anticipate that going into tomorrow. So if we want to see Solana continue going higher, we want to see a big up candle trading through the up candle on the here. Okay, and it's a previous week high. Again, previous week highs and lows. We want price to close aggressively above them on the daily basis or from the daily time frame perspective. Hence, we want to see a big run through this. Okay, and then that will give us a nice continuation to the 26.4 level that we were looking for, because Solana, like I said, is still bullish. Okay, so that's Solana for you. Now, on the H4, you can start monitoring all the down candles that are being created. So we have one here. That one needs to be protected. We had one here. So that one has been protected. So we want to see another one form, and it looks like they might be forming one here. And once they form that, we want to see another H4 candle run through it like this one did here, or like this one did over there. And we expect a continuation to the upside. Okay, so that is Solana. Let's go to AI. So AI, same thing. I would want to see today expand through it. So where we are, I think between this low and this side, that's a dealing range on the H4. So somewhere in between there and there, that's where you want to look for your buy with your stop loss below that, and expect expansion above this up candle, a big one. And I think we should continue going all the way up. Okay, but if it does get rejected and it's going up, partial can be taken up here, and then expect the continuation to the upside. Okay, so yeah, I'm looking for continuation to the upside initially to break this up candle aggressively, and then aim for previous week high and this high as well. Okay, so we are still bullish on AI 16. Let's go to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, yesterday I spoke about this candle. We want to see them trade through it. If we do, then I think they will be aiming for the previous week high. So as it stands, this is just, in my opinion, more buying happening. So these down candles that are printing in here, it's just more buying happening. Maybe in the afternoon. I think we're already in the afternoon. Okay, but I think we might run higher from where we are, especially this being a breaker. We traded through it. So I want to see them sustain that candle here. I don't really subscribe to it. They can trade below into this gap. That's fine. But it will be better that they leave this H4 gap open and then run higher. Okay, so exactly where we are, I would want to see a big up candle breaking this high, because on the daily, it's the last up candle prior to the move down. Okay, so we want to see them break it aggressively. And if we do, I think we'll be aiming for that'll be the first upside objective, 102.802, because that's a gap. They didn't trade into it, but they did trade to it on the spot. Okay, so if you do trade sorry, on the futures, they traded into this gap on the futures of Bitcoin, but not on the spot. So with the spot, I think that's where they're gonna trade to. We will see how it will trade when it gets there, but preferably if we can aggressively trade through the high, meaning if they can close up above it, then Bitcoin will resume going higher, and we can project the down movement and aim for higher prices. I think I have already done it, and we are looking for 120. So Bitcoin, we are looking for 120,000 upside objective. Okay. So that will begin once we trade aggressively above this high. And I like the fact that we've gone below the monthly low and then we are rejected. So from the monthly time frame perspective, you can see the reaccumulation candle, right? The buying more candle here. So this was all buying. This was all buying. And this is a buy. So we want to see this candle go and close above the monthly candle. And hopefully by the end of January, this candle will turn green. And if it turns green, that's when the projection, I think that's when I did the projection for Bitcoin. Okay. It was actually 125, 125K. So if we can close above the high, which is December's high, then we'll be aiming for 125,000 for Bitcoin, right? And it starts from how aggressive we can close above this daily up candle. So watch that daily up candle. We want to see today move aggressively above it. And to make it even more better, we don't want today's candle to come and touch Tuesday's high. Okay, so in other words, we want it to leave a gap. We've got 1 minute left to 1:30, so let's go and watch the news event and then we come back. Let's watch the news event and then we come back and continue. With this one, I'll just be silent for about 2 or 3 minutes because I don't think it's high impact enough. I don't know. I might be wrong, but I'll not stay silent for 5 minutes. Too long. So we'll see. We'll come back as soon as I feel like it's ready. Okay. I think, like I said, it's not as volatile as well, I was not expecting any big movement anyway. So let's continue. I think it's gonna continue going up. I'm expecting it to continue going up. So Let's keep to the upside and we'll see, right? Let's go back to Bitcoin. So I was saying that I would want to see, okay, today, not come and touch this candle's high, and that will create another gap here, and that will be very, very good because now we have two gaps, and that can protect price from going lower. Because if we start going up, gaps can be some form of a protection for price. Okay, so we want to see today, ideally not come and touch this Tuesday's candles high, and on the H4, it will, look like this. Okay? We don't want them to trade to this candles high, so they can still trade in here, which is a gap. They can trade in there and then reject and then go higher, which if it's going to do it, I would want to see the next 1 hour candle, this one here, do that. So to take out this equal low, okay, and then immediately reject, and we can start going higher, right? So this down candle will act as the 1 up, then 1 down, and the potential rejection, or it should go up from here because we have this 1 up, this 1 down, and then up. Okay, so always think like that. If they are going to buy, you want to see the up, the down, and then the up. So since they have the up here and then the down, is either should have gone up here, or they can create a new buy, which is the up, the down, and then the rejection. Okay, so this 1 hour candle, either we print an up candle or we print a down candle, and then the next 1 hour candle will go up. Okay, so basically that's what I'm anticipating on Bitcoin. Continue going higher. Ethereum, same thing. I'm expecting it to also continue going higher. The next upside objective, I think I said 3492, but Ethereum, I think, is the weakest at the moment. It's not as strong as Solana and Ripple and the other stuff. So, but yet still, I'm expecting to go up. Now, look at the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin. Huge difference, right? We've had a gap being printed. Ethereum is struggling to even print a gap, right? So let me go back. We have a gap here after taking out that low. We have a gap printed here. Ethereum is struggling to do that, okay? Preferably, we don't want them to come back to this candle's low because then we wouldn't have a gap. So as it's rejecting this low, it will be better for Ethereum not to trade to this candle's high and then reject. So on the H4, we don't want to see price come here. We want to see them reject exactly where we are. So you can use the same price action that I mentioned on Bitcoin to anticipate a reversal to continue going up, right? And this low to this high can be used as a daily range, and then buying between 618 and then the 70.5. Preferably, it doesn't have to come anywhere because I want to see that gap being left. Okay, so let's see if we can get that for Ethereum as well. And then if we go over to Hype, so Hype yesterday, we said that we wanted to see yesterday close above Tuesday's high and closing above the monthly opening price. So that's the monthly opening price. We've had a day close above it, which is good. So far, they've not left any gap, which that is a little bit of a concern for me on the daily. Because ideally, we should have been leaving some form of a gap to signify some strength, momentum to the upside. So far, we don't have that. So yes, I think it should continue going up, but the strength, the momentum, the velocity, or how fast is supposed to go up. We might not get that, okay, because they've not left any gap on the daily yet. But I still think price should continue going high. So right now, as it stands, this is our mental stop loss. Yeah, we don't want them to go below that. So they can trade into this gap because they've not created any gap on the daily. Hence, they can retrace back in here and then send price, first of all, to this imbalance, right? And then if we can close above it, which I think they should, then we will aim for the previous week high. Now, that is where I would want to see the aggressive candle being printed. Okay, so for us to be bullish, or for us to see price going all the way up to this high, I want to see a big up candle on the daily trading above previous week high. They can do it either today or tomorrow, right? So it's either today is gonna come down and then touch, sorry, the H4 will come down, clean out this low, reject, go up, and then tomorrow, big range candle above this high. Okay, so that's basically what I'm expecting, right? So if you trade hype, that is basically the news on hype. Then finally, my favorite one is Ripple. So I think I started talking about Ripple when we were here last week, right? And I said that because Ripple did not drop whilst all the other cryptos were dropping, this is the one to be in, because when Bitcoin starts going up as it's doing, this will run aggressively. And I did make no promise, but I did promise that it's going to be aggressive move. And you can see that on the weekly. Now, it's aggressive because, again, it's breaking a previous month high. So anytime we are breaking some form of a high, the need to have a big candle is a must. Okay, maybe I did not say my English properly. Forgive me. I'm not English. I'm actually African. But yeah, they move above the high, any high, whether daily, weekly. So if we are going above a weekly high, we need the daily to be aggressive to trade above the weekly high. If we are going above a monthly high, we need the weekly to go aggressive above the monthly high. I'm going to repeat, maybe I was too quick. If we are going above a weekly high, the daily time frame, the candles, needs to be aggressive, a big one, okay, to trade above the weekly high. If we are going above a monthly high, then we need the weekly to be aggressive, a big candle trading above the high. Now, why do we need that? We need that so that price will create some form of a gap. Okay, trading through that high, it will create some form of a gap. Hence, the next candle, which will be on the weekly, the next candle will not come back to this high. It will also continue going higher, and that will leave a gap above a high. And anytime you have a high and price will break it and then leave a gap, let's say this is a high. Actually, I drew a low. Go back. This is a high. Then you have one big candle trading through it like this. Then we have the next one creating this. Okay. This is a sign that we are very, very bullish. We are going to continue going higher. Okay, so you can start with the daily high and use the H4. So a daily high, we want the H4 to be aggressive. A weekly high, we want the daily to be aggressive. And then on a monthly high, we want the weekly to be aggressive. So if you study that, you see on the lower time frame, you will know when price is going to continue going up or not. Because the day, when we are closing above the daily high on a H4 basis, so let's go to the H4 and then you understand. Actually, let's go to the daily first and then draw a line on the daily highs. Daily highs. And then drop down to the H4. Okay. This is a candle on the H4 going above the daily high. Okay, aggressive. Here, that's yesterday's high. This is an aggressive candle going above the daily high. When we get that, it's a sign price is going to continue going in that direction because it creates a gap, and that gap will act as support or resistance depending on which direction it's going. All right, so that's why it's important for the Bitcoin to be aggressive above the weekly high on the daily basis. That is why it's important for the daily to be aggressive above the previous week high. So when you hear me mentioning that I want to see an aggressive candle, that is what I mean, right? Here, we had that aggressive above previous day's high, leaving a gap for protection or continuation to the upside, right? So Ripple, I think I did my projections, and currently as it stands, we will be looking for this level. Let me do the projection again. I was off a little bit. I was right. Yeah. So yesterday, those were the levels I was looking for. And you can see yesterday was here and they did trade to that 618. Now they've gone through it. So I'm expecting 3.5537 as the upside objective. And entry wise, I think now if you here, you can understand buying here was the first opportunity. Buying here was another opportunity. And then buying where we are today is another opportunity. Why? Actually, there was one here. I bought this one. I've been buying Ripple spot. So I bought here, I bought here, I bought here, and then this morning I bought there, all aiming for the 3.5537. Okay. Now, most of the time, I'll be pointing to the ones to be in. And then you hear it from my voice. I'll not tell you exactly which one, but you hear it from my voice. Right? And if you are listening, then you can take advantage of it. Because I'm not a financial advisor, I cannot tell you to do something. You will decide to do it yourself. Right? So that is that for I think the cryptos. Now let's go and look at the favorite one. I always leave the best for the last. So let's go and
Nice.
look at Tatuo. Now, Tatuo, we had yesterday reject, and I was saying we wanted to see this candle close above it. The next one closing above, leaving a gap, which was good. Now, they've retraced. I would want to see where we are, an expansion up. I don't want to see them go below this low. So that low is that low is 0.2793. I don't want to see price go below that. If they do, that's not good. It might be accumulation going on because on the daily we are still not going down yet because the down candle is still here. It's just being in a the word that I always use, a complex pullback. It's still within the range, but I don't like it when it stays within the range for too long. Okay, sometimes the traders will have no idea that price is still bullish and they'll keep banging their head in here. Okay? And when it starts doing that, it can throw a lot of traders off because they will not have any clue on what to do. what you need to do is to aim for this high, 0.6455. As long as we are below, I'm sorry, as long as we are above this down candle. So this is your mental stop loss. Until we trade through this level, you're aiming for 0.6455, right? Don't change the bias. Whatever is happening in here is nothing. It's just complex pullback. Ideally, they should touch it and go higher, and they just playing around, okay? So if you are a long-term investor, then this is where the narrative will change. It might not completely change. It might just for the time because we are still bullish anyway. They've gone above this high. Okay, so as long as this up candle has traded above this, we are bullish. It might be a reaccumulation, which is buying more on the weekly, right? And if it's that, that's great because if they are buying more on the weekly, you want them to buy more on high time frames, like Bitcoin, right? It's being bought more on the monthly. So if they can buy more on the higher time frame and you can see it, fantastic. Okay. And that's the best when they buy more on the higher time frame. If they buy more on the lower time frame, yes, you get joy, but when it's on the high time frame, there's more move to the upside than when they do on the lower time frame. So if this week ends up as a down candle, it does not change the narrative. The narrative is that as long as we are above this down candle on the weekly, we will be going higher, right? And I think we've done the projection, you know where it's going, okay? Ideally, I would want to see this as a down candle for this week. That if I was, you know, if I was the market maker right now, I'll keep this as a down candle for this week. And then next week, I'll take out this candle's low and then I'll expand aggressively higher. That's what I'll do because that's how market makers think. And they need to think like that. Because as it's dropping like this, guess what? Some people are aggressively selling, right? And when they are aggressively selling, guess who'll be doing the buying? Me, right? Because when they're selling, I'll be the one
Yep.
taking the other side. Okay, so that's the tool for you. We are still looking for 0.64, 0.06455 as upside objective and the projected levels that I gave in the previous sessions. So you can watch the previous sessions and basically look for the upside objectives. That's it from me, unless there's any question.
Amazing. Really amazing stuff, as always. Um, yeah, I mean, you know what? There's definitely questions, but one of the things that I wanted to kind of address is like there's like I guess a lot of fear of missing out on opportunities that happens every day, every second, right?
Mhm.
Now, as like for both you and for I, who have been trading like since before crypto was even adopted or even started, like we understand, and you should know this too, like opportunity does not go away. Opportunity presents itself daily with volatility. Opportunity presents itself daily with new technology. Like it's pretty simple. Like this whole like FOMO or fear of missing out stuff is like so annoying, only because it's like, yes, okay, like you're gonna, you know, you might not get in on this cycle or you might not get in on this time frame, but like technology advances, people advance, the culture advances, like, what's hot today, whatever it is, like maybe it may not be hot as hot tomorrow, but guess what? It's a cycle. It'll be hot again. And it's like you're not actually missing out on anything if you're planning and if you're conscious of the fact that opportunity will always be there. Generational wealth opportunity will always be there. It's not going away. Like get that through your mind, absorb it, right? Like it's like you're not actually gonna you're not gonna miss out if you if you buy at a top. Like, you know what I mean? Like just stop it. Relax, take it easy, meditate, do some exercise, code, trade, whatever. Like just chill out. Like you're not missing out on anything. Every day is a new day, every time frame prints a new candle, and the opportunity is always going to be there, right? You know?
Yeah, yeah. And the quote that I like is what if you knew, okay? Um, I'm going to be a little bit philosophical right now. What if you knew, okay, what was going to happen tomorrow, today? What are you going to do, right? If you knew what is going to happen, or if you know, let me say that way. If you know what's going to happen tomorrow, what are you going to do today? You prepare for it, right? That
Yeah.
means that means you have the opportunity, okay, every single day to prepare for tomorrow because you control what's going to happen tomorrow. It sounds a little bit deep, paradoxical, but think about it. You literally do know because you create your own reality. So whatever is going to happen tomorrow is in your control and you know it. If you are self-aware, you know it. Okay? And when it comes to the chart, like I'm showing you, you will know what is going to do the next day. So if you miss an opportunity today, chill. Next day is gonna come again and you're gonna know what to do. I know some people don't believe in predicting the market, but you can predict it most of the time than not if you study it properly.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't be FOMO, don't fear of missing out, and don't, panic. Don't get too attached. Just relax because every day is a present. Every day
And
is an opportunity.
and being in a relaxed state, you're actually you're inviting your brain and your body to go into a flow state, essentially into a like a superposition state where you're open to possibility rather than focusing on something so hard where it everything like you just get stuck. You get stuck in a momentum that may not necessarily be going in your favor, right? So like getting unstuck is important. It's important to just open yourself up and low like raise your frequency, right? But lower your vibrational state so that you're not um, stressed out, right? You don't
Yeah.
want to be stressed out. That stress is what's gonna get you into a bad pattern, right? That's where the fear comes in and the greed comes in, and we don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll give you this analogy as well, which I got from one of my meditation sessions. Now, when soccer players, I think those in the States, you call it soccer, but here we call it football. You know, when you're watching football or when you're watching soccer, right? The players on the field, they see the events happening differently from those that are watching it, right? Because those that are watching have got like a broader view. They can see the whole pitch. So when let's say a player has got the ball, they can see all the options that that player has got. But the player, right, that is in the field is so in the moment that he cannot see all those options. Okay. So most of the time, those that are observing outside the field, they are always making comments in a way that they think the same like those that are in the field are supposed to be doing. So for example, If I have the ball, they want me to pass it to B. But when I'm on the field, I'm seeing A. Now, what am I driving to? When you are too in the field, okay, when you are too busy, when you're too concerned with situations that is around you, you don't see options. Okay, you don't see the options. So most of the time, it's better to back off, which is relax, stop and breathe, move into a like you said, superposition, move away from things so that you can observe situations better and then you can see the options that you have. Because if you're always concerned with what is happening around you, you're not going to see the options that you have because you're too in the moment. You are too attached to things that is happening to you. So that's why you always have to kind of meditate or just withdraw a little bit, slow down, and slow yourself down so that you can observe things and then you can see all the options that you can have and you can make better decisions. And it even goes with trading as well. When you're trading, don't get too attached to P&L, don't get too attached to price
Hmm.
action. Okay, that's why I always talk about the high time frame because the high time frame gives you the opportunity to see what is actually happening on the chart rather than being in the lower time frame and then being so close to price, you cannot see what is happening. But when you're on the higher time frame, you can see properly what price is trying to do. And it goes for everything in life, not just trading, but everything in life. Always try to detach a
Yeah,
little bit so you can see the big picture because the big picture is always the best.
yeah, absolute fire, man.
So I think that would be all from me for today.
Likewise, I did, I wanted to address something real quick, and my apologies here. I saw a chat come through on Telegram. Someone's just concerned and wondering why the main dev is coming on these live sessions and not busy coding. And I'm like, I I could respond like angrily or whatever, but I just want to like just be like objective about this and address it fairly because okay, first of all, I'm not the only dev on this project, right? Obviously. And the other thing is that how how can I not be on these live sessions and not be educating myself constantly every day on the markets? How could you trust a dev who isn't doing that every day and coding AI for markets? Like think about it. Like it's obvious. Like why wouldn't you? Why that's what you would want a dev that does that, right? So like, put things into perspective, right? It's not rocket science, but I did want to address that. It's pretty important.
Awesome, awesome, man. That's how you deal with people.
Yeah.
Got to deal with them the right way.
Well, I
All right.
really appreciate it. Gonna get prepped with SP DOS as well. We're coming up at 9:30 in 30 minutes. Got a couple of things to take off my desk as well just before then. If there's anything
Well,
else you wanted to add, feel free.
that's it for me for today. I think we'll meet tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Friday, so we'll talk a little bit more tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks so much, and appreciate you, and appreciate everybody watching and in the community.